Namaste, welcome. Um, I just wanted to share a few thoughts, a few ideas that I've been percolating over the last few days, witnessing in the world so much division and turmoil and polarization. And I want to speak a word of compassion about all of it. So what do I mean by compassion? The word compassion means to suffer with, but also in its more practical application, it means the ability to recognize suffering in myself and or another, and a willingness to do something to alleviate that suffering. And for me, that definition about sort of recognizing suffering in the self or the other and wanting to reach out to alleviate suffering, for me, is the most important and working definition of compassion that I can think of, because it's very much based upon looking upon and empathizing with the pain of another human being, realizing what's making them afraid, realizing what's making them reactive, realizing what's making them feel out of sorts and displaced from the flow of life, and wanting to respond to that. Sometimes it's really difficult to do that with people whom we believe have a different ideology about the world to ourselves. We feel that somehow if somebody doesn't see the world like I see it, that this person is an enemy, that they are bad, that they're wrong. And what happens is we get away from the place of saying that person's ideas are wrong, that person's actions are not kind or good, that person's rhetoric is harmful. We get away from doing that, naming the behavior and the action. And what we do is we besmirch and we pathologize the person. The person is bad. The person is evil. The person is wrong. And if according to the sacred law of many great spiritual, religious, philosophical traditions, that what we say about the other reflects something about what's happening in ourselves, then that should make us pause for a moment. If I'm saying that this person is evil, bad, wrong, demonic, whatever it might be, then am I saying that about myself? I think it's very possible that I am. If I say the actions and the behaviors of that person are harmful or wrong or bad, that I need to challenge them because they're harmful to myself or others, which is a compassionate response, then we're coming from a different place, because we're not seeing the person as being somehow wrong or bad or evil or in need of being destroyed, because that's often what it leads to, is that when we start to pathologize the person, we then start getting into, this is a person that may need to be destroyed. And I'm seeing a lot of that on social media at the moment. And when we do it, when we say things like that, when we say really nasty personal things about persons, about people, not about decisions and behavior, but about persons and what they are, we're really doing, I think, grave harm to ourselves, because the whole world is a reflection of ourselves. The truth metaphysically about this cosmos and this universe, if we want to base that on a kind of model of quantum mechanics, particularly thinking of a theory such as quantum entanglement, is that nothing is really separate from anything, and that actually our perceptions of a solid material world that is we think is very kind of, as it were, either or, black or white in front of us, in reality isn't, because at the most intricate level of existence, at the subatomic level, at the level of particle and waves or light or energy or frequency, everything is dancing and moving, connected, and that anything that I am is connected to anything in you. So I suppose what's really important is when we start to judge, besmirch, and want to destroy another, we're actually turning that energy of destruction against ourselves. And usually what happens is it makes us emotionally uglier and uglier. And I mean emotionally, not in any other way. What we end up doing is reflecting in our spittle-flecked rage, in our judgment, in our nastiness, the very poison that we're pointing at and saying is wrong. I was on a social media post the other day, and it was about the whole, sort of the shooting of Trump. And this person actually said that as sad as it was that that fireman who was shot and killed had died, what it really meant was that there was one less Trump voter, and that was an objective fact. And when I challenged this person about this person turned very nasty against me, and basically said that I was just the same as Trump and the MAGA people. And anyone that knows me knows that is so far from the truth. I mean, my politics are fundamentally socialist, left to socialist in their structures. I'm not someone that supports centrist parties and centrist policies. I'm very much a socialist, and I'm very proud of that. So when people start accusing me of being on the right of Donald Trump, it kind of makes me laugh a little bit, because something that doesn't represent anything of me at all. With respect to figures such as Donald Trump, or even, in our own country, the former Prime Minister Rishi Sunak, the current Prime Minister Keir Starmer, both of whom supported and sanctioned the really, really cruel, the very cruel actions taken by Israel against the Palestinian people in Gaza. Their behaviours, their words outrage me. They make me angry. And I think that that's what makes me human, that what they've done and what they've said makes me angry. And when I get angry about unjust, structurally oppressive policies that make poorer people poor and make richer people even richer, I think that's an appropriate response to feel angry about those actions and those behaviours and those policies and those decisions that are made by people, who claim to have the greater good of humanity at heart, or of the nation at heart, and actually they don't. They're trying to keep their donors happy. Now, to get angry with their behaviours, their actions and their decisions is one thing. To personally hate and want to destroy them as people is another. And I'm really glad that, despite the fact that over the years I have felt at times outraged by things that the Tory party have done to poor people in this country, outraged by the austerity of George Osborne and David Cameron, I've never wanted to destroy them. I've never wanted to see them crushed or ruined or harmed or hurt in any way. And I thank God for that. I don't think it's down to me. I think it's down to grace, to be honest with you. And I think that through my own life experiences and grace, I've been taught to not judge other people in the way that I wouldn't want to be judged myself. And that's not saying I'm a virtuoso, because I'm not, because I can be impatient and angry and impetuous and judgmental as others, but I don't flourish in ideas of the destruction of another, and I don't hold grievances about others to the point that I want to see them ruined. There's got to be something that really has disconnected someone from their humanity when they want to destroy others. And what I'm saying is, if you feel that arising in your heart, I feel it arising in my heart at times, don't let it take control. It's a virus. It's a a virus that I believe is rooted in our evolutionary biology, because we learned as in thousands and thousands of years ago, when we were more primitive, we learned to be in a position of hostility and tribalism in order to survive, and our nervous systems and our brain structures developed in order to be able to promote that survival, fight and flight, attack, to scrutinize and be suspicious of the other. That's part of the virus, but there's more to it. There's something as well that is not a friend to humanity, something that is really dark and demonic, that I think is enticing humanity at the moment into positions of polarization and hatred. And I think that our only hope not to fall into it is to do compassionate introspection, compassionate examine. Examine is not to look and say how bad I am, it's to look at what is the darkness doing in me today, how is it speaking, how is it propelling me, what is it wanting me to see in that other person, what is it wanting me to do. I think that that kind of examine, which is compassionate, which says I recognize that these are arising out of impulses in my own behavior that don't represent the true divine soul self that is who I am and who we all are. That the truth of who we are is not that. And if we can keep doing that, we then can keep in balance the thoughts and feelings and emotions that arise that can be quite destructive and desirous of harm to others. So I'm going to leave it there. I've just shared a few thoughts there. I hope you find them helpful. May all beings dwell in the heart. May all beings be freed from suffering. May all beings be made whole. May all beings know their goodness. Namaste. Thank you. Nice to talk to you this evening. Bye-bye.